I just want to say I'm sorry for what I've done. And it haunts me every day. And I hope that one day the family can forgive me for what I've done.
A babysitter, a family friend, a cold-blooded killer. This is the story of Aleister and his twin sister, forever scarred by a night of unimaginable betrayal and violence. December 23, 2023 by Roy, Utah. A seemingly peaceful community where families gather and children play, but behind the facade of normalcy, a horrifying truth lies hidden within a seemingly ordinary home. Inside, a scene of unspeakable horror. 2-year-old Aleister lies motionless, his tiny body bearing the brutal marks of a trusted friend's rage. His twin sister, clinging to life, suffers injuries that will forever alter her world. The voice on the phone belongs to Jonathan Allen Dunn, 36, a supposed friend of the Kunzler family, entrusted with the care of their precious twins. But his trembling words reveal a chilling truth: he is the monster who unleashed this nightmare. Paramedics find Aleister on the front porch, his lifeless body a testament to the brutality he endured. Inside, his sister whimpers in pain, her injuries a horrifying mosaic of violence. Their cries for help went unheard, their innocence stolen in a night of terror. Aleister is rushed to McCady Hospital, where doctors wage a desperate battle to save his life. But the damage is too severe. His small heart, once overflowing with joy, is stilled forever. His sister, fighting for every breath, is airlifted to Primary Children's Hospital. Surgeons work tirelessly to repair her broken body, while the medical staff grapples with the emotional weight of her suffering. The Kunzler family is shattered. Their world, once filled with the laughter of their twins, is now consumed by grief and the agonizing uncertainty of their daughter's fate. News of the tragedy spreads like wildfire through the community of Roy. Neighbors, friends, and strangers alike are left reeling in disbelief. How could such a heinous crime occur in their midst? Who could inflict such unimaginable suffering on innocent children? Roy Police Department launches a relentless pursuit of justice. Detectives meticulously gather evidence, interview witnesses, and delve into the dark past of Jonathan Dunn, the man who betrayed a family's trust and shattered the lives of 2 innocent souls. Dunn admits to the unspeakable. He describes the punches, the pinches, the violent throws. He confesses to using a toy gun and a mallet as weapons against defenseless children. He reveals how he gave them medication to mask their injuries, delaying the medical attention that might have saved Aleister's life. But the question that haunts everyone remains: why? What drove this man, this supposed friend, to commit such acts of unspeakable cruelty? What darkness lurked within him, waiting to be unleashed? Experts weigh in, exploring the complex psychological factors that can contribute to such violence. Was it past trauma, mental illness, a disturbing lack of empathy, or a combination of forces that culminated in this horrific tragedy? Jonathan Dunn faces a litany of charges: aggravated murder, aggravated child abuse, and 2 counts of aggravated sexual abuse of a child. The Kunzler family, their hearts heavy with grief, seeks justice for their children. The trial unfolds a painful and agonizing process for the Kunzler family. They are forced to relive the nightmare, to confront the details of their children's suffering. But they remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice for Aleister and his sister. The jury, tasked with determining Dunn's fate, faces an agonizing choice. Will justice be served? Will the Kunzler family find some measure of solace in the face of their unimaginable loss? The verdict is delivered, but can any legal outcome truly mend the shattered lives of those affected by this horrific crime? Aleister's sister, a survivor, faces a long and arduous journey of healing. She will carry the physical and emotional scars of that terrible night forever. But her resilience, her spirit, offers a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. Aleister's memory lives on, a beacon of light in the hearts of those who loved him. He is remembered for his infectious laughter, his boundless energy, and the joy he brought into the world. The community of Roy, shaken to its core, rallies around the Kunzler family. They offer support, compassion, and a shared determination to prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. This tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need to protect children from abuse and neglect. We must all be vigilant, speak up when we see something wrong, and support organizations dedicated to preventing child abuse. The story of Aleister and his sister is a story of unimaginable loss, but it is also a story of resilience, community, and the enduring power of love. Let us honor their story by working together to create a world where every child is safe, protected, and cherished.
And you are the epitome of evil, and our family will never forgive you for the damage that you have done and the evil acts you have performed to these sweet, innocent babies.
To understand the depths of this tragedy, we must first meet the Kunzler family. Justin and Brittany Kunzler, two loving parents who built their world around their children. They were the picture of a young family, full of hope and dreams for the future. Aleister, with his bright eyes and infectious smile, was a whirlwind of energy. He loved exploring the world around him, always eager for adventure. Lara, his twin sister, shared his zest for life, her laughter echoing through their home. They were inseparable, these two, partners in crime, confidants, and best friends. Their bond was a testament to the power of sibling love, a connection that transcended words. Justin and Brittany poured their hearts into creating a happy and nurturing home for their children. They were dedicated parents, committed to providing their twins with a childhood filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. They believed in the goodness of people, in the strength of community. They trusted their friends, their neighbors, and the people they welcomed into their lives. It was this trust that led them to Jonathan Dunn. Dunn was more than just a babysitter. He was considered a close family friend, someone the Kunzlers relied on. He had been welcomed into their home, shared meals with their family, and played with their children. But beneath the surface of this seemingly trustworthy friend, a darkness lurked. A darkness that would soon shatter the Kunzlers' world and leave them grappling with unimaginable loss. What were the warning signs? Did the Kunzlers miss any red flags that could have prevented this tragedy? And what secrets did Jonathan Dunn hide behind his friendly facade? I know this was a heavy one, but these stories need to be told. If you're feeling it, give this video a thumbs up and share it to spread awareness. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our true crime community. For those of you who've been here a while, you know I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. December 20th, 2023 a.m., a seemingly ordinary Wednesday evening in Roy. The Kunzlers, needing a night out, turn to their trusted friend, Jonathan Dunn, to watch Aleister and Lara. Dunn arrives at the Kunzler home, seemingly his usual jovial self. The twins, excited to have their Uncle John over, greet him with enthusiastic hugs and eager requests for playtime. Dinner is served, stories are read, and bedtime routines are followed. To any observer, it's a typical night in a loving home. But as the hours pass and the children settle into sleep, a darkness stirs within Jonathan Dunn. The details of what transpired that night are disturbing, pieced together from Dunn's chilling confession to police and the heartbreaking evidence found at the scene. Dunn's account reveals a horrifying escalation of abuse. What began with playful punches quickly turned into brutal blows, pinching became agonizing squeezing, throws became forceful slams. The twins, confused and terrified, cried out for help, but their cries were met with further violence. Dunn, consumed by a rage he couldn't control, continued his assault. He confessed to pushing their heads against a doorframe, causing them to go limp. He admitted to hitting them with the toy gun and the mallet, inflicting unimaginable pain. As the night wore on, the twins' cries subsided, replaced by the shallow breaths of exhaustion and pain. Dunn, realizing the severity of his actions, attempted to mask their injuries, administering Tylenol and cough medicine. But his attempts to cover up his crimes were futile. By morning, Aleister was unresponsive. Panic set in, and Dunn finally made the call to 911, but it was tragically too late. What triggered this explosion of violence? Was it a sudden outburst, or was there a deeper, more disturbing motive behind Dunn's actions? And why did he wait so long to seek help, sealing Aleister's fate? Inside the emergency room at McCady Hospital, a team of doctors and nurses fights desperately to save Aleister. Every medical intervention is deployed, every resource exhausted, but the injuries inflicted upon him are simply too devastating. bruises mar his tiny body, a testament to the brutal force used against him. His head bears the marks of repeated impacts, his internal organs damaged beyond repair. The medical team races against time, but the odds are stacked against them. Meanwhile, at Primary Children's Hospital, Lara undergoes emergency surgery. Her brain bleed, a life-threatening condition, requires immediate intervention. Neurosurgeons work meticulously, their every move critical to her survival. Outside the operating room, Justin and Brittany Kunzler wait in agonizing suspense. Their world has been turned upside down, their family shattered by an act of unimaginable violence. They cling to hope, praying for a miracle. Friends and family gather at the hospital, offering support and comfort. But the atmosphere is heavy with grief and disbelief. How could this happen? How could someone they trusted inflict such harm on their precious children? As the hours pass, the Kunzlers receive updates from the medical teams. The news about Aleister is grim. His injuries are too extensive, his little body unable to withstand the trauma. The doctors deliver the devastating news. Aleister has succumbed to his injuries, his fight for life is over. The Kunzlers are left to grapple with the crushing weight of their loss, their hearts broken beyond repair. While they mourn the loss of their son, Lara's condition remains critical. She clings to life, but the extent of her injuries and the long-term impact on her health remain uncertain. The Kunzlers face a future filled with unimaginable challenges. They must navigate the legal system, seeking justice for their children. They must support Lara through her recovery, both physical and emotional, and they must find a way to heal their own broken hearts. How will the Kunzlers cope with this unimaginable loss? How will Lara's life be affected by the trauma she has endured? And what will become of Jonathan Dunn, the man responsible for this horrific crime? As the Kunzler family grapples with their devastating loss, the investigation into Jonathan Dunn intensifies. Who is this man who betrayed their trust and inflicted such unimaginable suffering? On the surface, Dunn appeared to be an ordinary man. He was known in the community, had friends and family, and held down a job. But beneath this veneer of normalcy lay a troubled past, a history of violence that foreshadowed the tragic events of December 20th. In 2016, Dunn was arrested and charged with child abuse after breaking the arm of a 2-year-old child left in his care. He pleaded guilty and served time in prison, a stark warning sign that went unheeded. Dunn was released from prison in April 2019, seemingly rehabilitated. He returned to society, rebuilding his life and regaining the trust of those around him. But the darkness within him remained, a dormant threat waiting to reemerge. Was this a tragic case of a repeat offender slipping through the cracks? Did the system fail to identify the danger Dunn posed to children? Or were there other factors at play, hidden forces that fueled his violent tendencies? Experts in the field of criminal psychology point to a complex interplay of factors that can contribute to child abuse. Past trauma, untreated mental health issues, substance abuse, and a lack of empathy can all play a role. Some individuals who abuse children may have experienced abuse themselves, perpetuating a cycle of violence. Others may struggle with anger management or impulse control, leading to explosive outbursts. In Dunn's case, the details of his past and the specifics of his psychological profile remain largely undisclosed, but his history of violence against children raises serious questions about the potential warning signs that may have been missed. Did Dunn's friends and family recognize the danger he posed? Were there any missed opportunities to intervene and prevent this tragedy? And what can we learn from this case to better protect children from those who would harm them? In the wake of the tragedy, the Roy Police Department launched a full-scale investigation, determined to uncover the truth behind Aleister's death and Lara's critical injuries. Detectives, trained to sift through chaos and find clarity, descended upon the Kunzler home. Every detail was scrutinized, every piece of evidence carefully documented. The house, once a haven of laughter and love, was now a grim tableau, frozen in time. Toys lay scattered, a half-eaten meal sat abandoned on the table, and a chilling silence hung in the air. The physical evidence spoke volumes. Bruises and lacerations on the twins' bodies corroborated Dunn's initial claims of a fall, but further examination revealed a far more sinister truth. The patterns of injury, the severity of the trauma, and the location of the wounds painted a horrifying picture of intentional abuse. The investigators, seasoned professionals, were nevertheless shaken by the brutality inflicted on these defenseless children. Jonathan Dunn, taken into custody at the scene, was brought to the police station for questioning. Initially, he maintained his story of an accidental fall, but as the evidence mounted, his facade began to crumble. Confronted with the inconsistencies in his story and the overwhelming physical evidence, Dunn finally broke down. He confessed to the abuse, his words painting a chilling picture of escalating violence and a complete disregard for human life. He described how his anger spiraled out of control, how he lashed out at the twins, inflicting pain and suffering beyond comprehension. He admitted to using the toy gun and mallet as weapons, to pushing their heads against the doorframe, and to delaying medical attention. His confession, a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity, left investigators with more questions than answers. What triggered this outburst of violence? Was it a momentary lapse in judgment? Or was there a deeper, more disturbing motivation? Dunn's confession provided a glimpse into the events of that fateful night, but it failed to explain the why. What drove him to commit such heinous acts? Was it a deep-seated rage, a twisted sense of power, or something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface? The wheels of justice begin to turn. Jonathan Dunn, now formally charged with aggravated murder, aggravated child abuse, and 2 counts of aggravated sexual abuse of a child, stands before the court. The Kunzler family, their hearts heavy with grief and anger, prepares to face their tormentor. The prosecution lays out their case methodically, presenting a mountain of evidence against Dunn. Medical examiners testify to the horrific extent of Aleister's injuries and Lara's ongoing struggles. The courtroom falls silent as the medical examiner describes the brutal force inflicted on Aleister, the multiple blunt force traumas, the internal bleeding, and the ultimate cause of death. The Kunzlers, seated in the gallery, weep quietly, their pain etched on their faces. Lara, unable to attend the trial due to her ongoing recovery, provides a heartbreaking testimony via video recording. She describes fragments of memories from that night, her small voice filled with fear and confusion. The prosecution presents Dunn's confession, his own words condemning him. They argue that his actions were deliberate, that he intended to cause harm, and that he deserves the maximum penalty under the law. Dunn's defense team, led by defense attorneys Taylor, attempts to paint a different picture. They argue that Dunn's actions were a result of a momentary lapse in judgment, fueled by stress and unresolved personal issues. Emmy call character witnesses who testify to Dunn's generally good nature and his history of helping others. They emphasize his remorse for his actions and his willingness to accept responsibility. The trial stretches on for days, a grueling emotional roller coaster for everyone involved. The Kunzlers, forced to relive the trauma of their loss, endure each day with stoic determination, their focus solely on justice for their children. The prosecution, seeking the harshest possible punishment, pushes for the death penalty. They argue that Dunn's actions were so heinous, so devoid of humanity, that he deserves nothing less than the ultimate punishment. Dunn's fate hangs in the balance. Will the jury be swayed by the prosecution's arguments and the overwhelming evidence, or will the defense's attempts to mitigate his actions find purchase? The Kunzlers and the community of Roy await the verdict with bated breath. Inside the jury deliberation room, the weight of the evidence hangs heavy in the air. 12 individuals, tasked with deciding Jonathan Dunn's fate, grapple with the horrific details of the case. They've heard the testimony, seen the evidence, and witnessed the raw grief of the Kunzler family. Days turn into hours, hours into minutes as the jury meticulously reviews the evidence. They debate the finer points of the law, dissect Dunn's confession, and weigh the arguments of the prosecution and defense. The tension is palpable, the gravity of their decision undeniable. Outside the deliberation room, the Kunzlers wait anxiously. They've endured the agonizing trial, reliving the trauma of their loss and clinging to the hope that justice will be served. But the uncertainty is agonizing, the weight unbearable. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, the jury reaches a verdict. They file back into the courtroom, their faces betraying nothing of their decision. The tension in the room is almost unbearable, the silence deafening. The judge, stern and imposing, addresses the jury, asking for their verdict. The foreman stands, their voice steady but filled with the weight of responsibility. All eyes are fixed on them, the anticipation hanging heavy in the air. On the charge of aggravated murder, the jury finds the defendant guilty. A collective gasp fills the courtroom. The Kunzlers, their faces etched with a mix of relief and grief, embrace each other. Dunn, his expression unreadable, remains stoic as the judge continues to read the remaining verdicts. Guilty of aggravated child abuse, guilty of 2 counts of aggravated sexual abuse of a child. The jury has spoken, delivering justice for Aleister and Lara. The verdict brings a sense of closure, but it cannot erase the pain. The Kunzlers will forever bear the scars of this tragedy, the loss of their beloved Aleister, a wound that will never fully heal. But amidst the grief, there is also a sense of hope. Lara, though forever changed by the trauma she endured, continues to fight for recovery. Her resilience, her spirit, is a testament to the enduring power of love and the human capacity for healing. The verdict delivers justice, but it also raises questions. How could this have happened? Could this tragedy have been prevented? And what can we learn from this case to protect other children from suffering a similar fate? Aleister's death sent shockwaves far beyond the quiet streets of Roy, Utah. The story of the twins, their unimaginable suffering, and the brutal betrayal they endured captured the attention of the nation and indeed the world. People from all walks of life were touched by the tragedy, their hearts breaking for the Kunzlers and their anger directed at Jonathan Dunn. The outpouring of support was immediate and overwhelming, a testament to the shared humanity that transcends geographical boundaries. In Roy, neighbors tied blue ribbons around trees, a symbol of remembrance and solidarity with the Kunzler family. Candlelight vigils were held, prayers were offered, and the community came together to mourn the loss of a child they had never met, but whose story touched their hearts. Online, a GoFundMe page was established to help the Kunzlers with funeral expenses and Lara's ongoing medical costs. Donations poured in from across the country and around the world, a testament to the compassion and generosity of strangers united in grief. The GoFundMe page not only provided financial assistance, but also served as a virtual gathering place for people to express their condolences, share their memories of Aleister, and offer words of encouragement to the Kunzler family. Brittany Kunzler, overwhelmed by the outpouring of support, expressed her gratitude on the page, writing, "We are so incredibly grateful for the love and support we have received during this difficult time. Your kindness has given us strength and hope." The community's response to this tragedy demonstrated the power of human connection in the face of unimaginable loss. Strangers became friends, neighbors became family, and a town united in grief found strength in their shared humanity. The justice system delivered a verdict, but the healing process is ongoing. The Kunzlers, supported by their community, faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives, honoring Aleister's memory, and helping Lara navigate her recovery. But the question remains, how can we prevent such tragedies from happening again? What lessons can we learn from Aleister's death to ensure that other children are protected from harm? While the legal battle raged and the community mourned, Lara, Aleister's twin sister, began her long and arduous journey of recovery. The physical and emotional scars of that horrific night ran deep, but her spirit, though wounded, remained unbroken. Lara's injuries were extensive. In addition to the brain bleed that required emergency surgery, she suffered multiple bruises, lacerations, and fractures. The physical pain was immense, but the emotional trauma was perhaps even more profound. Lara faced a long road ahead, filled with medical appointments, physical therapy sessions, and countless hours of emotional support. But she was not alone. Her family, her community, and a team of dedicated medical professionals rallied around her, providing the love and care she needed to heal. Lara's recovery was a testament to her incredible resilience. Despite the trauma she endured, she showed remarkable strength and determination. She learned to walk again, to talk again, to trust again. Her therapists used play therapy, art therapy, and other creative techniques to help her process her emotions and cope with the trauma. Slowly but surely, Lara began to heal, both physically and emotionally. Lara's journey is an inspiration to us all. She reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. Her courage, her strength, and her unwavering determination are a beacon of hope for anyone facing adversity. The Kunzler family, though forever changed by the tragedy, found strength in Lara's recovery. Her progress gave them hope, her resilience inspired them, and her love reminded them of the preciousness of life. In a statement released to the media, Justin and Brittany Kunzler shared their pride in Lara's strength, saying, "Lara is a true fighter. She has overcome so much, and she continues to amaze us every day with her courage and determination. She is our hero." Lara's road to recovery is far from over. She will continue to face challenges, both physical and emotional. But with the love and support of her family and community, she has a bright future ahead. Lara's story is a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable trauma, healing is possible. Her journey is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love to overcome adversity. But as we celebrate Lara's progress, we must also acknowledge the long-term impact of trauma on children. What challenges will Lara face in the years to come? How can we best support her and other children who have experienced abuse? Aleister's tragic death serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need to protect children from abuse and neglect. It compels us to ask difficult questions. Were there warning signs that were missed? Could this tragedy have been prevented? And what can we do to ensure that no other child suffers a similar fate? In the aftermath of this horrific crime, the community of Roy and the nation as a whole grappled with these questions. Experts in child welfare and abuse prevention stepped forward, offering insights and guidance on how to identify and address the signs of child abuse. Aim of the key takeaways from this tragedy is the importance of recognizing and reporting suspected child abuse. Often there are subtle signs that something is wrong, but these signs can be easily overlooked or dismissed. Children who are being abused may exhibit changes in behavior, such as becoming withdrawn, anxious, or aggressive. They may have unexplained injuries, or they may be reluctant to go home or be around certain adults. It is crucial for everyone in the community to be vigilant, to pay attention to the children around them, and to speak up if they suspect that something is not right. A simple phone call to Child Protective Services or a local helpline could save a child's life. It's important to remember that child abuse is not always physical. Emotional abuse and neglect can be just as damaging, leaving deep and lasting scars on a child's psyche. Children who are emotionally abused may experience low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, and difficulty forming healthy relationships. Neglect, the failure to provide for a child's basic needs, can also have devastating consequences for their physical and emotional development. Preventing child abuse requires a multifaceted approach. It involves educating parents and caregivers about positive parenting techniques, providing support services to families in need, and creating a culture where child abuse is not tolerated. Many communities offer parenting classes, support groups, and other resources to help families thrive. Schools and other organizations can also play a vital role in educating children about abuse prevention and empowering them to speak up if they need help. Aleister's tragic death serves as a wake-up call. It reminds us that child abuse is a serious problem that affects every community, but it also reminds us that we all have a role to play in preventing it. By recognizing the signs of abuse, reporting our concerns, and supporting organizations dedicated to child welfare, we can create a safer world for all children. Let us honor Aleister's memory by taking action to protect the most vulnerable among us. But the question remains, how can we ensure that the lessons learned from this tragedy are not forgotten? How can we create lasting change that will protect children for generations to come? Though his life was tragically cut short, Aleister's memory lives on, a beacon of light in the hearts of those who knew and loved him. Those who knew Aleister described him as a bright and energetic child, full of curiosity and wonder. He loved exploring the world around him, his laughter echoing through the halls of his home and the playgrounds he frequented. His infectious smile could light up a room, his playful spirit brought joy to everyone he met. He was a beloved son, brother, grandson, and friend, and his absence leaves a void that can never be filled. His family cherishes the memories they have of him, the moments of laughter and love that will forever be etched in their hearts. They remember his infectious giggle, his love of trucks and dinosaurs, and his unwavering affection for his twin sister Lara. His parents, Justin and Brittany, remember him as a precious gift, a source of endless joy and pride. They hold on to the memories of his hugs, his kisses, and his sweet voice calling them Mommy and Daddy. In a statement released after the trial, Justin and Brittany said, "Aleister was the light of our lives. He brought so much joy and laughter into our world. We will never forget him, and we will always cherish the memories we have of him." Aleister's life, though tragically cut short, had a profound impact on those who knew him. He taught them the importance of love, laughter, and cherishing every moment. His memory will forever be a reminder to live life to the fullest, to appreciate the small things, and to never take a single moment for granted. Aleister's legacy extends beyond his family and friends. His story has touched the hearts of people around the world, inspiring them to be more vigilant, more compassionate, and more dedicated to protecting children from harm. Aleister's memory serves as a call to action, a reminder that we all have a responsibility to create a world where every child is safe, loved, and cherished. Let us honor his life by working together to prevent child abuse and neglect, ensuring that no other child suffers the same fate. But how can we ensure that Aleister's legacy is not forgotten? How can we turn our grief and outrage into meaningful action that will protect children for generations to come? The story of Aleister and Lara Kunzler is a heartbreaking reminder of the devastating consequences of child abuse. But it is also a call to action, a plea for us to do better, to be more vigilant, and to create a world where every child is safe from harm. If you suspect that a child is being abused or neglected, please do not hesitate to speak up. Your voice could make all the difference. A simple phone call to a child abuse hotline or child protective services could save a child's life. There are many resources available to help prevent child abuse and support families in crisis. Parenting classes, support groups, and counseling services can provide guidance and assistance to those who are struggling. We can all play a role in preventing child abuse. Educate yourself about the signs and symptoms of abuse. Be a supportive presence in the lives of children and families in your community, and most importantly, if you see something, say something. Remember Aleister. Remember his infectious smile, his playful spirit, and the joy he brought into the world. Let his memory inspire us to create a world where every child is cherished, protected, and given the opportunity to thrive. Let us honor Aleister's legacy by working together to prevent child abuse and neglect. Let us create a world where every child is safe, loved, and free to reach their full potential. Thank you for watching. Please remember, if you suspect child abuse, don't hesitate to speak up. You could save a life.